And another cool feature about Relay, I know, Rocky, a lot of your listeners are in the real estate industry, property management industry. So often it's very common for you to have multiple properties, usually separated by EIN. And on Relay, once you have one business registered with us, you can register all of the other entities you own under the same set of login credentials. So similar to maybe your QuickBooks or other platforms out there, you sign in once and see all of your entity bank accounts listed together, but they're still separated. And if you needed to transfer funds in between those businesses as well, that's also immediate.
Hey, it's the Profit Answer Man, Rocky Lalvani. If you're new to the podcast, check out my interview with Mike Michalowicz. It's episode number 2. If you want to hear about each chapter in the Profit First book, go back and listen to episodes 3 through 13. Episode 1 is the why and how. On the Profit Answer Man, we learn money mastery without all the complicated accounting mumbo-jumbo using a simple system. Your accountant is busy documenting your transactions and creating a rearview mirror of what happened. My guess is you don't even look at the reports they sent you. If you're like most business owners, you struggle with this, and it's not your fault. We aren't taught money in school, and accountants aren't taught how to be profitable. The Profit First system created by Mike Michalowicz works, and he certified me to help you implement the system in your business. Remember, the new equation is sales minus profit equals expenses. Let's face it, without cash flow, you can't pay your employees, buy needed materials, or pay your mortgage and support your family. I help you to do that and more, so you can focus on the parts of the business you love and receive the rewards for your labor and investment into your business. The stronger you are as a business owner, the more jobs you create, the better we are as a country. Small business owners are the backbone of America, and for that, you deserve to be well rewarded. Just remember, more revenue does not equal more profit. That's why we focus on the bottom line.
Hey, quick reminder, for all of 2023, second Thursday of every month, we've got a Q&A call. Anything you want to learn about with regards to finances, your business, Profit First, an episode that you heard and you had a question about. There's a link in the show notes to sign up for the calls. They're completely free. Let's chat. Today is really cool. We're going to make implementing Profit First 10x easier. All right? From getting started to keeping on track. There's a partnership now with Relay and Profit First, and it just makes it so simple and easy to do your Profit First allocations. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. It's all done behind the scenes. Set it, forget it, get on to doing what you love in your business. We're going to talk about that. Deanna Zubrickas works directly with Relay's partners, accountants, bookkeepers, helping them deliver superior business banking to their clients. She is the go-to product expert for business banking solutions and banking integrations with accounting. She's here with me to share how the partnership works, how this new system will work, and how it will make your life easier. Let's meet her and learn from her.
Welcome to the Profit Answer Man, Deanna Zubrickas. It's great to have you join us today.
Hey, Rocky, thanks for having me.
Excited for our conversation. And for those of you listening, this is really going to help take all of the struggle out of Profit First and make it super, super easy to implement, to automate. It's what we've been waiting for forever. And finally, Profit First created a partnership, and I am happy to be part of it. And we're going to tell you all about it and how that works. Before we do that, can you share a little bit about yourself and what Relay does?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Deanna Zubrickas. I'm a product specialist here at Relay, and I'm also a newly Profit First professional, newly certified. And Relay is a online business banking platform. We're designed to offer, free banking for small businesses, but also increase your visibility and help work on things like tech that you struggle with at your current bank, or access issues, visibility issues. And yeah, it's a pretty cool program, if I don't say myself.
So how did you learn about Profit First?
I actually learned about Profit First through customers Relay. So the part of the business that I work in is I, demo the Relay platform to accountants and bookkeepers, and often just the features of Relay naturally lined up to what you need to set up Profit First. And so many people would say to me, "Hey, have you heard of Profit First before? They would be perfect for your platform," or "I can't believe you guys don't know about them yet." So I actually got introduced through customers, which is pretty cool.
Nice. And then you guys partnered with Profit First as well, correct?
Yeah. We announced we are the official banking partner of Profit First and Profit First Professionals in April. That came out. So it's a super exciting day around here.
I can imagine. Mike has a rather large following who desperately need your help. And so it is I will say it is a perfect marriage. Since that's occurred, and even before that, because people could have, even though the partnership wasn't there, people could still always use Profit First with your systems. What are some of the successes that you saw out there?
Yeah, well, the main reason that a lot of people gravitated towards Relay to set up Profit First is the flexibility with your accounts. So as a business on Relay, you can have up to 20 accounts. That includes checking and some savings now. So the ability to set those up and have those be individual checking accounts with unique account and routing numbers rather than envelope systems, that was the natural draw. And because Relay is a free product at its core, it was free for people to get started, right? That's usually one of the hardest parts for Profit First people implementing at the first time is, is my bank actually going to allow me to open these accounts and not look at me like I've got three heads? And if they do allow me to open them, what's it going to cost me to run Profit First for my business? And that setup is super, super easy and, free of cost on Relay.
And I think that's one of our underlying rules. When people ask me about banks, we've always had a list of banks to share with them. Mm-hmm. But number one that we've always told them about is we don't pay fees. So you got to find somebody who is going to be on your side and help you do that. We're not going to subscribe to all of the ridiculousness that maybe some of these different things have going on. So I love free.
And I think what's interesting about that too is when I was doing my own Profit First certification, I know there used to be a list of, all of these different banks that Profit First had worked at, but not built for. So that is really the difference with Relay it's something that we're built for at our core, whereas some banks just kind of can make it happen, but aren't built to support that system.
And I think that list, we called them Profit First friendly banks. It was, they didn't charge. They would allow you to open multiple accounts. They wouldn't give you hassles over it. And so that is where that list came from, because we would, I remember one client in particular could not find a bank local to them and really struggled with being able to get it started. And that is the biggest problem. So, and I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen Mike on stage. I see Mike on stage at different events from time to time. And one of the biggest stories I've always heard from Mike is, he comes off the stage, and believe it or not, he has all these fans, right? People run into him.
I do believe it.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He comes on, and so they're like, "Oh, I love Profit First. I read the book 2 years or a year ago, and I love this reminder talk and all of these things." And his first question is always, "Did you set up the accounts?" And invariably the answer is no, kind of. Well, I tried it, but then I forgot. Or like I couldn't keep doing it. Or there's just a whole bunch of issues that prevent people from success. And that is one of the biggest problems that you fix. And we'll talk about that. The other thing is I want to talk about the power of automation. So my listeners know I have another podcast, Richer Soul. That's where we talk about money and building wealth. And on there, I talk about my story. There is a reason that I am wealthy today. It is because when I was 20 years old, I automated my savings. Okay. So even back in the early 90s, I guess, my brokerage company would take money out of my bank account on a set basis every month. My paycheck would automatically take out my 401k, my credit union, my company stock, and even my banks. I would have like a separate savings account and a separate checking account. And I could easily, well, actually, it wasn't easy. You had to go to the branch back then and move it with your paper bank book, you know. But the point was, I set up all these automations that just kept pulling money out and putting it aside into different buckets. So, you know, the emergency fund bucket, the buy a house one day bucket, the retire bucket, the other major purchase bucket. And so when I found Profit First, I was like, oh, I already do this. Yeah, this works. Yeah. And then I was like, well, do I want to write a book about it and create my own terms and my own formula and do it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do any of that stuff. So that's why I partnered with Profit First. But it's the reason I built wealth. And what you have done now is taken that same concept of automation and laid it on top of Profit First and the banking system and made it flawless. So tell us about it.
Absolutely. Well, I think two of the biggest roadblocks that we hear when I'm talking to clients is the execution, which we've kind of already covered, super easy to set up at Relay, but it's also the sticking to it, right? And whether that's in a separate spreadsheet or you've got an actual calculator out, it can be hard to keep on top of it. So when we were about to announce the partnership launch with Relay and Profit First Professionals, we thought, you know, what about auto transfer rules? So this is actually something that Relay created specifically for Profit First users, and it automates your monthly allocations. So you can go into Relay and create a rule. You pick the frequency, so you can plug in, you know, the 10th and the 25th. You can use it as a sweep account, so you can move every single dollar out of your income account and then by percentage, divvy it up into your owner's pay, your taxes, your profit, your OPEX account. That will run automatically for you at whatever frequency you choose. And what's really great about that is whether you follow the Profit First rules to a T or you customize it to work differently for your business, that's how it also runs in Relay. So no matter what your percentages look like, where you're at the targeted ones or not, you've got different looking accounts, you can plug in that automation for how you run Profit First.
So do you have to use percentages? I have a handful of clients that prefer a dollar amount, like every month put X amount into this account, X amount into that account.
So you would have the option to do that as well. You could do it as a manual transfer and set it up recurring if it's the same dollar amount every month.
It is.
If it's it is. Okay, then yeah, you could definitely do that. If you're somebody that doesn't like percentages and it's not the same dollar amount you're moving every month, then you can do manual transfers. That's an option too on Relay. But it's really like picking your own adventure. You've got multiple different options to run your transfers, which is kind of cool. So
let's make it clear for everyone. I go into the platform and I set it up. So I might say, okay, these are the dates. And I can do, so if I wanted to do it weekly, I could do it weekly. Yes?
Yes.
Can you do it daily? I never tell people to do it daily because I think that's nuts. But could you do it daily?
You could do it daily. I wouldn't suggest it either, but you could do it. Or you could do the opposite, do like a maximum balance rule. So you could say, you know, every day at the end of the day, I want to keep $100 in the account and then transfer everything else over. So that might be more function for the daily, but not along with Profit First.
Okay. And then, or we could do it the 10th and the 25th or whatever 2 days you pick. Or for those who do it once a month, they can pick a day a month and then it will apply the rule. So the rule is, you're going to have a profit account. We're going to have our tax account. We're going to have our owner's account. We're going to have our OPEX account. And we could now, if we decided to have 4 or 5 more accounts, we could have 4 or 5 more. And I could go in and say, put 1% here, 5% here, 10% here, 30% here. And no matter what was going on, it would just take the money that came into my income account and move it to the account that it belonged.
You got it. That's exactly how it works.
Now, will this integrate with QuickBooks or Xero or whatever they're using for their accounting software?
Yes. So Relay actually built their own connection with QBO and with Xero. So you connect that bank feed once and you never have to reconnect it again. So all of those transfers that you're doing inside of Relay will absolutely show in your accounting software.
Do you ever get objections from bookkeepers? Oh, this is going to create so many more transactions for me to have to look at.
Yes. And those are generally the bookkeepers that are not Profit First users, of course. But what I've learned from Profit First professionals that are also bookkeepers is it's just transfers, right? There's only 2 accounts that have actual activity going on out of them, right? Income is all incoming, and then your OpEx is all outgoing. So everything else is a transfer. So it's really not that much more work. And if they, small business owners ask that same question, I say, hey, I got a whole list of Profit First certified bookkeepers for you that are trained specifically for this, which is awesome.
So that's the other objection I get. And it usually comes from the bookkeeper who think that it is too much work for them. And like you said, it's literally nothing more than a handful of transactions, especially if you're doing it twice a month. You're looking at, what is that, 5 extra transactions? Whoop-de-doo-dah. Like, if your bookkeeper can't handle that, we'll find you a new one. Not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. We got a list.
Cool. And then the same thing, if I decided, okay, every month I want $2,000 to go to profit and $3,000 to go to profit and $5,000 to go to my pay, I could set that up as well so that every month it moved that amount.
Yeah, exactly. So you could set it up as a recurring transfer based on dollar amount.
Now, just out of curiosity, if people did set it up that way, what happens if there's not enough money in the account?
Yeah, so that would be the only option. So you're just assuming that every single month the transfers would be the same. If there wasn't enough funds to transfer in, the transfer would be canceled and you'd just have to look at it the next day and maybe manually update it. But if you're working with the percentages, it would go no matter what.
Can you do both together? Or no?
I do that.
Okay. So you have complete flexibility of how you do it.
Yeah, a lot of Profit First users, they'll utilize the automated ones for their monthly allocations. And then for quarterly distributions, they might use the more manual one to do an actual dollar amount. So a lot of people utilize them together.
Can I look at my bank accounts on my phone?
Absolutely. We're a virtual bank. There's no other way.
Well, I'm just trying to think of what are the issues that people are going to face? What are they going to struggle with? Because the biggest things I see with Profit First a lot of times is how do they, is there a way to set up an alert so that if their OpEx account goes below a certain dollar amount where something's happening, that they get alerted, okay, I know you've been ignoring your banks for the last 30 days, but now you need to go look at it.
Yeah. You can't beg blindly anymore. No, we don't have that type of functionality built into Relay yet. And something important to know about our accounts as well is they do not go into overdraft. So if you were to make a payment or something like that, they actually would just cancel. So there's no fees, involved in this. And, there's pros and cons to this, whether you like overdraft or not, but it's just something you'd have to keep looking at. But we're always looking for, ideas for notifications or product improvements in the future. So it's a lot of people have asked about something like that.
So what do we do with people who need overdraft or who need or have maybe another account somewhere that they can pull from? What would they do?
Yeah, so this actually happens quite a lot on Relay, especially when you're transitioning. And Relay connects to 100% of US banks. So whether it's business, personal, we connect directly. Big bank, small bank, doesn't matter. And it is free to transfer your funds in and out of Relay. So if you want to keep another banking relationship, and many people do, a lot of times for resources that Relay doesn't offer yet, like maybe a physical checkbook, a credit card, a large cash deposit, we're very friendly with other banks, so you can definitely make it happen. A lot of people will use Relay as that primary bank account, have your payroll here, do your Profit First here, your direct deposits, and just kind of keep that other account for, a loan relationship, something else. But because we're so friendly with other banks and you can transfer easily, you can next day ACH yourself. It's very easy to do.
And that was my question. So I can go onto the Relay platform and ACH money in and out?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool, because that's one of the things that because money gets stuck in places. For business owners, every minute counts when it comes
Absolutely.
to cash. And so having that flexibility and that ability is super important.
Yeah. Or even thinking about paying yourself, right? That's the note. I get 2 questions from every time I talk to a business owner about Relay. How do I get paid and how do I pay myself? Those are the bottom line, right? And it's easy, set yourself up as a payee and do a next day ACH to your personal account. So it's very important information.
What are the other questions that you tend to get from people who are considering doing this?
So anytime somebody looks at the platform for Profit First specifically, to be honest, Rocky, it's a no-brainer. You look at the platform once and you're like, okay, sign me up. The hesitation comes more into transitioning to Relay. So, how am I going to update all my banking information? How easy is this going to be? Does Relay help me make this more seamless? And we've actually recently come out with an onboarding checklist to help support this. So once you set up your Relay account, we have a full checklist for you that helps you set up everything you need to do to start using Relay as your primary bank. So it has you set up your batch accounts. So if you want to set up your Profit First accounts in 4 clicks, you'd get all 5 of them together at once, which is kind of cool. Next, it'll prompt you to connect to your external bank account. Next, it'll be add funds. Next, it'll be connect to your Square, your PayPal, your Stripe. So your POS systems to receive money. So it goes through the whole checklist of how to set you up properly and start using Relay successfully. But now, once you connect to an external bank account, we'll also flag all of the auto pays, auto withdrawals that you have at your other bank, just so you have a list to work off of immediately where you can start updating your account and routing information. So we try to make, the bank switching or the bank transition as easy as possible.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
What else should we cover about this?
So Relay actually just launched savings accounts, which is very, very exciting. Something that users have been asking for since day one of Relay being out and about. So each business on Relay now can have 2 savings accounts. So it's still a total of 20 accounts in total. If you open 2 savings, you can have 18 checking. And both accounts are interest bearing. So 1% to 3%, depending on how much you're keeping in the accounts. And we've designed them for businesses that maybe haven't had the opportunity to save before, maybe never thought about saving before. So that's another great option to use the auto rules and transfer funds directly into that savings account. So a lot of people with Profit First will utilize those 2 accounts for profit and tax. So you can just automate that saving feature and have it deposit directly in there, which is really great. And a lot of the questions we've been getting about the savings accounts recently are, what are my restrictions? How many times can I transfer in and out? That's pretty common with personal savings. And at Relay, there's no limitation on how much you can transfer in and out of your savings account, which is really great. So we want to try to keep it in there for you to keep working towards your savings goals, but there's no limit there, which is pretty great.
And I'm assuming internal transfers are immediate?
They are. Yeah, they are immediate. And another cool feature about Relay, I know, Rocky, a lot of your listeners are in the real estate industry, property management industry. So often it's very common for you to have multiple properties, usually separated by EIN. And on Relay, once you have one business registered with us, you can register all of the other entities you own under the same set of login credentials. So similar to maybe your QuickBooks or other platforms out there, you sign in once and see all of your entity bank accounts listed together, but they're still separated. And if you needed to transfer funds in between those businesses as well, that's also immediate.
Nice. So you've made it simple. So I'm going to ask, and maybe you don't, but are there any things that people really tend to struggle with?
I would say, again, the hesitation of just actually moving over your information and getting that task done. Or if you are a business that accepts a lot of cash, we're a virtual bank. So those are, options we have to have available for you. So if you're a restaurant or maybe a food truck, there are always workarounds. But if you have daily cash deposits, it might be a little bit more challenging to utilize Relay, which is why we always say keep a local branch account open. Maybe you deposit your cash there. We have some ATM options for you to deposit cash as well. So cash heavy businesses usually have those questions too.
Okay. And literally, that is the biggest thing I hear from business owners is the struggle and the fear over opening a new bank account. And I don't know why, more often than not, after they do it, they're like, oh, that wasn't hard. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, it took, hours. I'm like, yeah, but it's done. And Mike says it all the time. It is the number one hurdle with Profit First is A, starting, and then B, 3 months later, continuing, because we get busy and we forget. And when you automate it and everything just kind of starts rolling, then it's easy. Now, let me ask you a question, because this is really the big one. Can we hide accounts so that when I log in, I just see my OPEX account and my revenue account, my income account?
So we can't hide or lock accounts today. It's a feature that we're exploring for the future, specifically for Profit First users, because I think that was a question that Ron over at Profit First Professionals also had. So something that we're looking at for sure.
Okay. It would be nice to just have a thing where you went in and you set your settings and say, like display view 1, which is just what I need to look at. And then display view 2, which is all accounts. And then this way, and I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you've heard Mike say this, but if Mike sees cash in the bank, he spends it.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't heard Mike say that specifically, but I was talking to another one of my clients recently. They said the same thing. So for whoever signed up as like the business owner on the account, they would have full access to everything. You see all checking accounts, but let's say they have other employees or, you know, a CPA, a proper professional accountant, you can hide access from them. So you can select exactly which checking accounts they access, but that doesn't work for the sole business owner because of course they need to have full access. So yeah, hopefully something we can build in.
Well, can you set up a separate login for yourself, maybe using another email?
You could.
So, okay, we got to work around, create a second login.
Yeah.
Right? For create your one login with one email that you don't want to use all the time. And then you use your main login as your second email that you use all the time, and only give your permission to watch the income account so you know how much money came in, and only give yourself permission to look at the OPEX account so you have an idea of how much is going out. And then, okay, I'm going to go crazy here. You might want to create a couple other logins. So like once a month you can go in or once a quarter, you can look at your profit account. And then when you need to pull your pay, you can go in and look at just the pay account so you know how much money you have for your personal needs. And that's the only thing I want in that account is you to just see how much money can I pay myself this month. Okay, I've got enough to cover myself. I know you're going to have to log in and log out and get LastPass or something. It's all automated, but I want to, the little bit of that stickiness, believe it or not, has such a massive impact on human behavior.
Totally.
And so and for some of you, we might have to give your spouse the main login. You might have to go ask them permission and ask them what your balances are so that they keep you in. It's accountability, right? And I will tell you, business owner spouses are really good about, some of them are really good about that. Others are really good about draining the business account. So you're going to have to figure it out for you. This is all figure outable.
Yeah.
And so figure it out. And you guys know, I always tell you at the beginning, I have that monthly Q&A call. So this is if you want me to walk through with you and figure it out for you, get on that call and ask your question. We'll do that. That's the kind of stuff we do. All of this stuff is available to you and we'll help you with that. Yeah.
You just have to be open-minded to try it, right? That's half the battle.
It is.
And actually, what you were mentioning, Rocky, about giving yourself a separate login, to hide some accounts, kind of reminded me of something else a lot of people do on Relay. And Relay is built for safe and secure collaboration, which is very hard to find at most business banks, right? A lot of business banks don't understand that there's always somebody else involved in the business, right? Whether it's your partner, an employee, your spouse, a CPA, a profit first professional, there's always somebody else that needs access. So whether it's you giving yourself a secondary login to hide accounts or giving your profit first professional access, your property manager, the business owner is always in control of who can be invited to the account, what their access looks like, and what they can do. And that, goes to card controls too. So it makes you, able to continue to share responsibility within the organization, to get some separation, whatever you need, but you're able to customize it for what you need in the business.
So just for clarity, I could give someone else access to just see my numbers, but not actually move money.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we've got a read-only access. If you had an employee, you can give them read-only access, or you could do the same for your bookkeeper if you wanted. So yeah, absolutely.
That prevents fraud and embezzlement.
A whole lot of stuff. Yeah, you can. And everybody, that's something we're very serious, especially being a virtual bank. Everybody has mandatory 2FA. And for any of the bookkeepers in the audience, 2FA kind of makes your job a little bit harder, right? If you're sharing personal passwords from your clients. So you got mandatory 2FA. Everybody is controlled their permission levels from the business owner. And we also have a session history log too. So you can log in and see at any time who's logged in from where, what they've been doing. You can track it all.
I love the audit log in QuickBooks because I will log in and go, yeah, your bookkeeper hasn't been in here in a month and a half. I can tell.
Absolutely. Yeah. Accountability, right? Built right in.
Accountability. That's what it is all about. We've covered a lot. Did I miss anything?
A lot of people ask about payments on Relay. So next day, ACH is free. Check payments are free. Business owners can also require banking information for people they want to pay, and also W-9 forms, which is huge. Whether you do your own bookkeeping or not, it's going to save you a lot of time come 1099 season. So you can actually require W-9s from payees, and they cannot receive payment until they've uploaded W-9s for you, which is fantastic. I know, Rocky, sounds pretty good, right?
That is a big one because most business owners forget about it until the end of the year. Yeah. This way you can set up payment and then tell them, hey, once you upload this, it'll auto. Like, can you set it up so that you set the payment to go, but like you check a box and say, make sure the W-9's there. So once the W-9 goes, then the payment goes and you don't even have to think about it.
You got it.
Wow, that is cool. Then you don't have to fight with them. You're like, well, did you give the W-9 to the bank? No. Oh, well. Not my problem.
Yeah, exactly. And you just kind of have to train people into doing that, right? That's a lot of the fear. And that's why a lot of, bookkeepers or CPAs end up having that task on their plate at the end of the day. So yeah, it's easier to do that. We also have an accounts payable product built in too. So you can set up approvals. It has all your bills sync in from QBO or Xero. Something also really great for the real estate industry is we receive all wires for free, and sending out wires on Relay is very affordable too. You can do domestic wires for $5, $10 for international wires. So really great to set that up.
And I'm guessing that since you're virtual, they don't have to leave their phone or their office to set up a wire.
You got it. You can do it directly on your phone if you want it, which is something that comes up all the time. Oh, do I physically have to go into the bank? And with Relay, that's not even an option. So yes, of course you can do it on your phone, but it's also free to receive all wires on Relay. So free for wires, ACH, and check. I actually had a business move over to Relay specifically to receive wires for free. It saved them $12,000 a year.
Out of curiosity, what about, and I don't know that anyone needs it, but what about international?
Yeah, so we send international wires, $10 per wire, or if you upgrade to our Relay Pro feature, you can do unlimited for $30. We charge a live exchange rate. We send to 26 different currencies, so you can see that all live before you actually send out payment. And it takes about 3 to 5 business days for the wire to arrive. But yeah, you can run that whenever you'd like.
Even for domestic?
Domestic would be $5, and that would be same day.
Okay, that's what. All right. Because for wires domestic, sometimes it needs to be same day. Cool.
Yeah. So we definitely do that.
If people would like to learn more, what do we do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can head directly to the link in the show notes here, and that's going to set you up with learning more about Relay, setting up an account. The whole process is really easy. It takes you about 10 minutes to set up a Relay account. Just have your documents around, your EIN, your SSN, your ID, maybe your certificate of incorporation, but the whole process is virtual, which is pretty great. And if you are an accountant or bookkeeper in the audience today, we work directly with you as well and help get your clients onboarded. So we help with things like access issues, broken bank feeds, messy data. And there will be a link in the show notes as well for accountants and bookkeepers specifically to learn more about Relay and how we can help.
Cool. And as you said, that'll be there. So click on the link to get whatever help that you need, and they will hook you up. Thank you so much for joining me today, Deanna.
I forgot to ask them one question about setting up automated increases in the amount of money going in so that every quarter it already upped your allocations to profit. But hey, how hard is it to go in once a quarter and make the change when you take your profits? I think that's it. Listen, this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks to getting started. So, as the people at Nike say, just do it. And if you need help, the monthly Q&A calls throughout 2023 are a great way to get your questions answered. And that's all we do. It's Q&A. Whatever you ask, I answer. So sign up in the link in the show notes. And I love the fact that Relay's free. We love stuff that you can use and implement in your business to make you more profitable without using up more resources and being more resourceful. And at the end of the day, that drives the bottom line.
If you'd like for us to be a part of your profitability journey, we have different programs available ranging from do-it-yourself to one-on-one coaching. Our course, The Profit Blueprint, teaches you everything you need to know to transform your profitability. There are 3 different tiers ranging from DIY to done with you so that businesses of all sizes can get the support that's best. Join the waitlist in the show notes to get more information and be a part of the next cohort. If you want a done-for-you service, you can hire us as your Chief Profitability Officers. We only work with a handful of clients, so they all get our full attention. We work with business owners who have or are growing to $500,000 to $10 million in revenue. You can use the scheduling link in the show notes to get on our calendar for a good fit conversation to see if we're the right people to support you and how we can help you.
This episode of the Profit Answer Man podcast is brought to you by SMBpodcastnetwork.com. The network is a collection of podcasts and shows from around the internet which focus on bringing you interviews with amazing guests who share actionable advice, ideas, and information for small and medium-sized business owners and entrepreneurs. Visit www.smbpodcastnetwork.com to find more great shows and easily subscribe to be notified of new episodes. It's a great way to discover quality content. If you've discovered us via the network, then I hope you enjoy today's show and will consider subscribing directly so you never miss our episodes. Remember to check out my other podcast, Richer Soul, where we talk about how to live the ultimate life and be the best business owner you can be. As we close out, let's repeat the mantra. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Have an abundant and profitable week.